Hey, this is Raise Radio, the holistic wisdom podcast for awakening women that weaves food and nutrition, traditional wisdom, spiritual expansion, so that you can feel your best, body, mind, and soul. I'm your host, Raina Lutz. Let's dig in. I'm going to tell you the story about a client I had who began the journey to heal her intergenerational trauma because of the relationship she had, not with food, but with tables. So about a month ago, I had this wonderful, amazing client from the Tsawwassen First Nation. And she had been doing a lot of inner work on herself and her self-development to heal herself after leaving a relationship with a narcissist who had controlled her food for over 25 years. She had been doing a lot of mind, body, and spirit work for over 7 years and was ready for some of my spiritual medicine to help her get to the next level of her healing. She had a lot of fears. She had a lot of stress around sitting at the table to actually just sit and have a meal. And so she was piecing apart the story and giving me sort of these choppy, interesting quotes and anecdotes and quips about some of her experiences and where she come from and where she'd like to be. And so when I brought up the conversation about ancestors and trauma healing and intergenerational healing, she became very excited. She said, this is actually what I want to talk to you about, is I'm about to step into the role of elder. And I need to feel prepared. And how can I have conversations with the young girls, with the children, as an auntie, if I can't even have a seat at the table with them to have these conversations? And so when I'm having these kinds of deep conversations with clients, I'm very careful to listen in between the spaces, between the words. And I made sure that this client was held by my words, by the space that I could hold for her to be able to share these really private and intimate, painful thoughts with me. And so finally we reached the end of her telling these stories, and we just sat in silence together for a couple moments. And I said, would it be okay if I share some of my thoughts and feelings about this with you? And of course she agreed. And I said, I don't think that you have a problem with your relationship with food. I think you have a problem, an issue with your relationship with tables. And I think the issue is that you don't feel ready to take your seat at the table as an elder. And I want you to start talking to your table and say, I'm allowed to be here, and sit at your own table to start practicing to be able to be ready to sit at the table with a room full of people who need to hear your stories, need to hear your wisdom, need to hear how you healed from this abuse, need to hear how you got yourself there in the first place. We want to be able to sit at the table with you and break bread while you teach us. And people will be missing out on your healing if you don't heal your relationship with the table. And so it was such a beautiful exchange because I was very, very honored to be asked to support her in this. She was very excited to now have a really specific goal in mind. And it was such a beautiful, reciprocity around this truth that food is medicine and that we get to reclaim that. So this was, one of the last pieces of healing from that kind of abuse, when someone controls your food for so long and you've done so much healing to reclaim that back. To be able to say, not only have I reclaimed that back, but I'm taking it one step further. I'm taking my seat at that table. So this is one of the pieces of some of the work and help that I do with people to help support them with intergenerational trauma. And it does not look the same every time whatsoever. It's not something that I can, copy paste into a document and say, this is how we're going to heal this. It looks different. And it's not a, A, B, C, D, E. It doesn't look like that. So it's a beautiful journey. I am so honored to do it. And it's very special to me to be able to reconnect people back to their cultural foods, to their connection with the belief that the truth that food is medicine, and to their own sense of personal power. That is all I wish for the women I work with. Thanks for listening. You can find me online at www.rainadonlutz.com.